Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Monday, September 13th at 11:46 a.m. We're all here for the same reason to figure this stuff out. Choices, options, of which opportunity overload is presented to everybody. Asset overload. There's always a new asset. And it's hard to assess quality versus basically vaporware. And we've all seen that over the last year and a half, the explosion of what historically was in 2017 an ICO type concept, which has evolved into a very different narrative of financial primitives and derivatives in many regards. This is not 2017. The explosion of new assets in the space is certainly reminiscent of what we experienced in historic crypto times. But the functionality of the products is a whole nother level. The capital is churning, the velocity is there, the critical mass liquidity exists on these networks. It is not 2017. It is different. It is new. There is no debating it. It is obvious. You got financial systems that are spawning. You would say a financial system, but it's more than one financial system because they're distinct, mutually exclusive networks. Capital has to flow across bridges to get from one to another, which is basically the same as NASDAQ versus the New York Stock Exchange. It just is what it is. Different markets, capital flow, critical mass monetary velocity. Opportunity will be chased. Polygon was hot, and now the capital outflow is undeniable. And it's chasing massive incentive programs going on other chains like Avalanche and Phantom. Just saw an announcement for a Harmony One program. It's going to draw in new, excited, exuberant participants. And you could speculate that in the coming 1-2 years, when incentive programs run dry, will they ever run dry? Could it possibly be the case that we have continuous incentives structured strategically from some source of capital? Because it's a race, it's a competitive system of which particular financial system receives, the overwhelming amount of capital inflow. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out in the coming years. We'll only know how it plays out in hindsight, but what is obvious and undeniable is there's little to no reason for capital to leave the crypto space. Why the heck are you going to remove dollars from the crypto space if someone's willing to pay you 4, 5, 6% to borrow them, 20 to 40% with incentivized yields? Why would dollars leave the crypto space? There's literally no logical reason. And because there's no logical reason, they're not going to leave the crypto space. There's degrees of conviction, there's degrees of confidence, and then there's pretty much shit that's like, yeah, it's kind of obvious. Why the heck would dollars leave the crypto space? Unless to settle debts. The purpose of the dollar is a common unit of account to settle debts. So you keep your capital in the crypto space, generating returns, providing a salary, and you settle debts. But otherwise, for the capital to be productive, crypto places is the place for it to be. Recently, I've been entertaining the idea of a business, maybe a laundromat, maybe something that is relatively passive. Clearly, it's not real estate because the ROI is there's no reason to get into real estate at all. It is way too much work, and the ROI is shit. You're going to buy a $400,000 apartment down here in South Florida, and you're going to be able to rent it for like $2,000 a month. No, thank you. That is a ridiculous amount of capital to lay out to get that kind of ROI. It's not lucrative. It's a failed enterprise. So I'm stuck with the very obvious reality that there's no better place for capital than the crypto space. I'm not going to put it into equities, dividends on REITs are negative. That's some crazy shit. Follow Luke Roman, boys and girls. Let me get this over to the main screen. Luke, obviously, the difference between HODL and productive assets. Let's pop it over to the main screen. What do I got up? I got convex. Where's nope. Where's what I was looking at? Was it an email? Yeah, here's Luke. Here's the URL. Yeah, I'll paste it in the stream. Follow this series. I like Luke. Why do I not see any comments? Let me refresh this page. I'll be right back. There we go. Follow Luke's, watch his video. So I align with him. So you got to follow the contrarian ideologists as well. You know, Stephen Van Meter, Jeff Snyder. And it's important, but, I kind of just agree in so many regards with the way he thinks. And it's refreshing to see such clarity in as he professionally presents it. Um, so, food for thought. This is from the macro perspective. Let me hit some comments real quick. Shaquille, good morning. Dogoshi, sup. Killis in the house. Breakless. Klaus. Lewis, my man. It's a pleasure. Where to stake for asset productivity, please? Well, for me, the the no-brainer is convex finance. I think that's going cross-chain. And when I say these types of things, when I say the no-brainer, I'm talking 5 to 10 years. I'm talking you should expect a 60% drawdown in your capital. If you're prepared for a 60% drawdown, you're going to be making whatever the yield and the recurring revenue stream is that entire period of time. And when the system reflates in 5 years or however long it takes for the government to monetize enough debt to keep the system from imploding, all your yield over that period of time will reinflate as well. There's nothing I do without a very long time horizon for at least the larger positions. You know, there is shorter time horizons that come across my mind, particularly with regard to incentive programs. Being opportunistic, you deploy when there's an incentive program and you redeploy based on opportunity cost analysis to something that's more lucrative. Allegiance to your portfolio, not to an asset. You have one shot at this game. If you hold allegiance to an asset, your shot at this game is based on an asset. And there's no logic or reason to that. Title of the stream is the difference between HODL and productive assets. You're going to hold allegiance to an asset, you're going to HODL it. A lot of people bought Cardano really cheap. Maybe they made $1 million. They would literally have to sell the asset and pay at least 30% to the U.S. government if they sold it. This is not a productive asset. You have $1 million in paper form, you can't do anything with it. If you want to buy a $100,000 car, you got to sell $135,000 worth of your Cardano and give $35,000 to the U.S. government. Sounds like a pretty shit deal to me. So I can't subscribe to HODL ideology. Doesn't make much sense to me. Why would I hold an asset? Hold on to it for dear life. Watch it go up. Watch me turn 50 grand into $1 million, $2 million, and then have to fork over 35% of it to the government. To me, that's a poor choice for a portfolio component. That's all I do all day is think about the repercussions, the implications of my choices on my financial well-being, which affects me and my family. So why would I choose an asset that I love so much that I want to hold it and watch it go up so high in price to have to sell it and fork over all that money to the gov? That sounds like a poor choice for me and my family. All these folks holding on to XRP, expecting $589. They turned their $1,000 into $1 million. And now they have to sell it and give it all away. And that's a tragedy. Meanwhile, there's productive assets which you never have to sell and that produce weekly income. I find that ideology much more satisfying. Has a much better time, much better longevity. It's much more rational. Mix. pleasure. Daniel, what's up, Noah? Always a pleasure. Andrew, thoughts on the GB airdrop? I don't know. I'm not even looking at it. Maybe it'll be worth $1 million one day. A pleasure. Igor, hey Noah. Now there is now CVX locking and staking. Do I need to unstake if I want to lock? What's the difference here? That's your choice. All portfolio management choices are subjective. Staking and locking. Locking is when you want to vote. I personally don't think CVX is a good asset for the general public to accumulate. I believe this is an asset that's best suited for protocols. Protocols will ferociously consume it to gain control over the current monetary policy, which is extremely valuable. Now, if you want to play the CVX play, clearly that's a capital gains play. You're buying low and selling high. I don't think it's the most productive asset, albeit the yield is denominated in CVX CRV. But the yield on CVX CRV is significantly more meaningful from a retail participant perspective. That's my 2 cents. I do not want to completely discount the viability of a CVX position to a person's portfolio, but I believe for myself, the CVX CRV is the opportune play. Bear in mind, it does yield CVX. So you do have CVX exposure. You're exposed to its appreciation. Now, bear in mind, the chart looks horrible. It literally was at the fifth. That's a 200 EMA on the hourly, and that is a seriously obvious rejection to the downside. So you broke the trend formation. You got rejected off of previous support flip resistance. Then you broke the 200 EMA to the downside and reject. This has significant confluence suggesting a bearish continuation. Focus on time horizon. Pick your time horizons. As long as it's productive, as long as you're making a decent weekly revenue stream out of the asset, it's good. Albeit it doesn't produce that much return. So it's not the most productive assets, in which case an opportunity cost analysis is warranted. And that also has to factor in slippages. If you're going to take a 3% hit, converting your assets from one to another, that's pretty painful. Curve looks in better shape as compared to CVX. On the daily, it's above meaningful moving averages. It's below the 200 SMA, above the 100 SMA, and it bounced off the 50 SMA. 200 EMA as well. Notice there's a 50 SMA, 200 EMA bullish cross, which is actually coincidental with Bitcoin as well. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. That's ES. So stock market looks like crap. Bitcoin USDT. So depending on trajectory over the next 1 to 2, 3 days, maybe. Let's see if it holds on the guppies on the daily. That's a 50 SMA, 200 SMA bullish cross that's no longer inbound, given the price action is below the 50 SMA. This is the big cross, meaning the last time the 50 SMA crossed the 200 SMA was May of 2020, the start of DeFi summer, when everything went parabolic. We were in parabolia. So this is next couple of days is critical. If this is a 50 SMA, this is a 200 SMA rejection of the 50 SMA. No bueno zone. Not that I have a Bitcoin position, but food for thought. I mean, it's not a productive asset. So, I'm so not a maxi. I'm so not a hodler. Albeit I am. I'm a hodler of productive assets. At the end of the week, did you have income? At the end of the week, did you make as much as you make from a job? Do you make more? Do you make half? Do you make 20%? Have you increased your revenue, your salary 20%? Come on, that means that's the story that means everything to me. That's how you change people's lives. But that requires significant reprogramming from a retail investor's perspective. This isn't buy low and sell and make $1 million. You put $1 million in a bank account. What the heck are you going to do with it? Something that's sustainable, a strategy that's sustainable. And the only thing that's sustainable is comparing all this activity to a business, to a job. to replace your job, to get a paycheck. Capital gains. What are we, stock traders? Hell no. I don't want to be a damn stock trader. Daniel, what percent should your dollar cost average in at a time? It's your choice. Pay bills. Pay your bills. Where are you going to save your money? You're going to put your money in a bank account. It's nice to have cushion. I got cash in a bank account. It's not much. I got some cash and some treasuries and T-bills. But that's losing money. It's all losing money. The deflationists would argue that the system is fucked and they're going to deflate the shit out of everything or allow it to deflate rather. In which case, the only position is really bonds because cash doesn't do shit during a deflationary event. You have cash because then you could buy stuff when it starts to reinflate, but you have bonds that will asymmetrically appreciate during a deflationary impulse. I see that as a bit of a scavenger type of, or cannibalistic type of approach to the markets. Opportunistic in a doom scenario because everyone is experiencing the pain during a deflationary impulse, such as what was experienced in March of 2020. Everyone thought the world was going to end. Because the general public doesn't understand. They understand stock market go down bad. But let's buy bonds because they'll go up 70% of value in 3 weeks. Because, anyway, what was I looking at? Follow, where did Luke go? Where did I put? Here's Luke. So you got the deflationist camp. And it's not that Luke's an inflationist. This is a very realistic take from a macro perspective. I just find the way he presents dialogue and narrative very refreshing. His presentation is very rational. I also very much appreciate every time I could hear Lynn Alden speak. She's very rational. I appreciate rational ideology. I am a regurgitator, an aggregator of rational ideology. Folks think maybe all I do is talk about what I hear. But yeah, that's the way humans work. So I hear a bunch of shit, I understand it, I process it, I digest it, I put my own story, or I tell it in my own story form. I connect it to business, connected to work and salaries. I connected to what the heck are you guys doing on a daily basis? We need to put things in perspective. The world needs more storytellers. And I like to tell stories. Ask the right question. Love the investing philosophy of acquiring revenue streams, financial independence, and putting money to work so that we can have more time to enjoy life. My friend, that is everything. I think back of my grandfather who loved working, but he retired when he was like, he owned his own business, but he retired when he was like 87. No, life is strange. I get very philosophical often. What is work? What is being happy? And all I know is choice. Choice is everything. Choice is freedom. If you don't have the choice to do something, you're not free. You're burdened. Burdened and having the choice taken from you. So if you're not free to stop working voluntarily, you're not free. Your choice has been taken from you, and that's a burden. When I'm 90 years old, or however long I last, I'm going to do everything I can to be free, free to make choices, free from burden, free of anxiety and stress, which takes a lot of leaps of faith. Like, look, the market's freaking all over the place. Look at this CVX. It's going up and down. This shit's getting killed from a technical perspective. Curve looks decent. Let's see if Bitcoin holds that damn guppy on the daily. We won't know for another 7 hours. It's another Bitcoin. What do I got? No, not that. I'm not looking at that. I keep an eye on Joe Avex. I have a moderate sized MIM Avex position going on, but something's been going on with Chardex. Looks like they're getting hammered or something. I got a decent Phantom position as well, and Spirit Swap I opted for rather than Spooky, which is tough choice. Tough choice. But I put a bunch in Spirit. I got a boosted farm yielding large triple-digit returns. Juicy. So I keep an eye. There's no real Spirit charts. It's too new, too small a market cap, too volatile. But I keep an eye on Phantom. I like these chains. I look forward to Arbitrum and Optimism getting hotter. I look forward to Cardano. I look forward to Elrond. I look forward to Flare Network. This whole maximalism bias drives me nuts. What we have is opportunity for people to change their lives, and they're worried about which product is better. Stop worrying about which product is better and focus on opportunity cost analysis and allocating capital and not wasting money excessively trading. Find some conviction, extend due diligence, and place your damn poker your casino chips on the damn table. But the roulette wheel, you know, humor me on the metaphor. You put in your casino chips on the roulette wheel, but the roulette wheel's spinning for 5 years. So have some time horizon. Got to shake it up. You got to think different. Because if you think the same, you're going to end up buying the Litecoin pump and dump today, which the DOJ is going to go after like gangbusters. Or you're going to end up buying Hex and have no idea what's going to happen in 5 years. I have no discredit for the simplicity of the contract. It's an extraordinarily simple protocol that's got massive momentum from social media, hype, email, and marketing campaigns. But it's quite speculative how things will play out in 5 years. And the biggest burden, in honesty, what I see with Hex is you're not making any money on a weekly basis. Paper gains don't count. If you can't pay your car bill at the end of the month, that's not a position I want. Got to be able to pay a car bill. Got to be able to pay your rent. Got to be able to pay your food. If you are not generating a salary, you're not making any income. Is that a good position? I'm not here to bash on any asset, but I just don't see assets like Hex as a good position. It doesn't make any sense. I want weekly gains. I want a salary. That's how you change people's lives. That gives you choices, and options. Adam, a pleasure. Deeply confused. Don't forget the almost free leverage on property thanks to the Fed. Yeah, I posted yesterday, why the fuck can't a bank give me 4% insured returns on my property? It's the most ridiculous thing what goes on with banks. Useless financial products and services. Matthew, happy to be able to catch you live. Always a pleasure. I'm happy to help the best I can. Deeply convex on layer 2 would be sweet. I agree. WTH, hey Noah, can you briefly talk on how you use your Ledger Nano to secure your wallets? Well, Ledger Nano connects to MetaMask. So you log into MetaMask. You go to the top right, you click Connect Hardware Wallet, you plug your Ledger Nano into USB, and I mean, that's it. And now your MetaMask operates on your Ledger. So your Ledger is a hardware wallet. It secures your private keys. Your private keys never leave your hardware wallet, which means no computer, no MetaMask, no website ever has access to your private keys, and you have effectively secured your capital. Now, one thing I wish that Ledger had was 2FA. Now, clearly there's a pin to access the Ledger, but I wouldn't mind like a YubiKey support or something. That'd be really cool. 2FA. Sir Joe, present. M. Bassard, 30% ouch, 1% here in Switzerland. Oh, we are getting hammered. These boys are trying to take everything from us. New York, they're estimating New York potential tax rate 60% for top income earners. They're trying to take it all to pay their debt. What a ridiculous situation. So Matthew makes a wonderful point, which I talk about often on Twitter. I wouldn't mind paying taxes if we, the people, could vote freely and effectively on what our taxes dollars are spent on. Let the people decide. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell people all the time it should be an honor to pay taxes, an honor and a privilege. But it's not because I'm paying salaries for people. I don't want to pay their salaries. At least give me the choice. Give me a DAO. Let me use my ledger. Let me use something to vote where I want to allocate my capital. My tax revenue goes where I want it to go. But no, that's not the way the system works. So is the system fair? Most certainly not. They've proven time and time again they aren't responsible. That is a very much the case. Thoughts on DeFi kingdoms? I don't know about it. Are you aware of Flare Finance and their version? Yes, very much aware of Flare Finance. Looking forward to it. It's a shared consensus model where integrated chains are facilitating Flare's consensus. Yeah, I'm very much looking to Flare. That doesn't mean I'm going to take a Flare position, and I certainly wasn't going to take an XRP position to get a Flare position. What I'm very interested in is Flare going online, some serious blockchain integration, bridges so I could collateralize positions on Flare, an opportunity cost analysis on their DApps, their DeFi protocols. So if there's a great opportunity, I can take part in it. I look forward to Flare. I look forward to Cardano. I look forward to Elrond. I look forward to Harmony One. I look forward to Cosmos Hubs. I look forward to Polkadot Parachains. Anti Maxi here, boys and girls. For someone, Adam, Flare built for. No, it's not. Flare is not built for the XRP ledger. Flare is a completely separate blockchain that XRP is integrated with. They are not the same at all. Talk. Adam takes to Noah and Taiki. I don't have to worry about the chart. Just define time horizons. Yeah, well, that's the way I'm playing it because I have one shot at picking the right assets for the next 5 to 10 years. And it's not easy to handle the emotions and anxiety, but I'm sure as hell going to give it a good shot and jam my conviction into these positions. For someone looking to accumulate CRV, how do you see the floor in a bear market? I think the floor is going to get hammered if we have a deflationary impulse. I expect to see some serious six-figure haircuts on what I'm working with, and I am prepared. I am prepared for the worst, and I'm hopeful for the best. Mix, Captain. It seems a guy like you would just hex and chill. No, because it doesn't make any money on a weekly basis. And I'm pretty sure you're joking. But if I can't take money out, it's not useful to me. So it's not a useful protocol to generate weekly returns. I can't pay my car bill with the position. So it's not an interesting position. Derek, I just moved my savings to Anchor. Anchor's cool, insured, risk free, 15%, and that is quite considerable. I mentioned all those protocols. Yeah, Anchor and Terra, uh, pretty cool. It's not everything's on my radar, but I don't discount anything. Anti Maxi. Good morning from South Florida. Always a pleasure. Reject the vax mandate. Fidel. Complicated. Complicated. Kilroy, what's the minimum amount of capital you consider deploying in the CVX? I started with a small amount of money that's on Polygon, but that gas fee seems too prohibitive. You're going to get hammered with gas fees. 99 Gwei for a cheap the slowest transaction right about now. You're looking at $100, $200 a transaction. It's not really possible to be on Ethereum L1 as a playground right about now. I can't answer that for you, my friend. I cannot. And CVX is not on my radar right now. Certainly not of interest as a core position. Um, Klaus, Daniel's throwing out fire meme tweets every 20 minutes. Dude, he's on fire. Daniel and his crew. Daniel and his crew. They got urine vibes. You know, it's rare where you got intellectual capacity, productivity, and follow through. And they got some serious urine vibes going on. You know, not very different, meaning they're not urine. They're their own people. But when urine was getting off the ground and Andre and Badteg was starting to hit the ground running, so Daniel and his crew got urine vibes. Just saying. Chris, Lal, Adam, Cosmos, big deal. China narrative, macro strategy. That shit is hot out there in China. And they are into Cosmos. I mean, where's the captain? Captain Weber's not on. Cosmos is hot. Love that Cosmos. I've had a position for a long time. What are your thoughts on Forex pools on convex? Fire! Fire, fire, fire. Not for necessarily providing LP, because I'm going to get that revenue share from the admin fees. So, CVXCRV. The way I play the game. Inox in the house. Thank you. A pleasure. Derek, where did you get in on FTM? Probably at an all-time high. Probably got in at an all-time high. I don't, entries are really annoying, and I don't really try and time entries too much. I think more in terms of capital allocation and reallocation and opportunity cost. If I'm getting 150% of my Spirit FTM position, that's what I'm getting. The principal depreciates. I'm pretty sure in the next 5 years it's going to be worth a lot more than it is today. So I thought hard between Spirit and Spooky. I opted for Spirit. That was my subjective choice. Alan, do you think S-Spell will come to Phantom and Avalanche? I think those boys are not going to stop. I don't know about, like for instance, CVXCRV, the curve staking has only been on Ethereum L1. I think some ingenuity and creativity and complexity is involved in maintaining that functionality cross chain. That seems to be like a significant technological complexity, and I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand how that's solved, but I'm sure, sure that's come across their mind in conversation. Joe, I thought you sold Expo. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did take. Yeah, and also I like the narrative or the story of Abracadabra working with Spirit, and I think Mim is just going everywhere. Mim's going everywhere. That's crazy. I like their lending. Spirit has lending, whereas Spooky doesn't. So I think they share the same memeage, but Spooky and Spirit are heading in different directions. Spirit's small, so I took the spec play, so it's a smaller position. It's not the largest of positions. So, all this shit is subjective anyway. I have no idea. Maybe Spooky goes 10x and I miss out on 10x. What do I know? All I know is I made a choice. And I'll live with my choice, and I'm happy with it, and I respected my opinion, and I deployed accordingly. That's all I know. Mix. I'm just testing waters in Curve and getting hammered with fees, just moving stuff around. You're going to get hammered with fees on Ethereum L1. I barely do any trades on L1. I do nothing. I'm not moving capital around. I'm not spending $100 a transaction fee. It's not happening. So everything that I have on L1, that shit is locked up. I am not I haven't touched it in weeks. Not spending it. That stuff is set and forget. And that's the protocol to be on. That's Fifth Avenue. That's where the billions will flow. That's where the vast majority of my capital is deployed. But the playgrounds where the degeneracy will occur, surely Avalanche, Phantom, Arbitrum. Polygon's been decelerating significantly. Have some fun on the playgrounds. And think about it. Think about how you want to structure the portfolio. Think about the time horizons. Listen, if you're going to deploy like 10 grand or 20 grand for 5 years, $100 transaction fee is not the worst idea, but you better have some conviction because if you're going to deploy that capital and be like, oh, a week later, another $100 to take the capital out and move it into something else, or maybe you want to play around with a convex LP position in stablecoins. Now you're going to go through a CVX CRV conversion to CRV, and then a CRV swap to stables. You're going to lose out at 3 to 5% of your position in slippage. You're just going to burn your capital. Can't be moving capital around. Can't do it. You're going to burn your capital in transaction fees and slippage, and before you know it, it's going to be very painful. Got to deploy with long time horizons, otherwise you're going to lose your money. If you want a playground, you go to Avalanche, you go to Phantom, you go to Polygon, you go to Arbitrum. Still got to watch the slippage. You're going to get hammered in slippage. At least you're going to do better on transaction fees, but you're still going to get hammered on slippage. Trust me. Trust me, I know. Huh. Do you think the recent run up from Sol and Avex are sustainable? No, but I think Solana. Oh, you didn't mention Solana also. Solana's a big deal. I think Avalanche. I think the incentive programs are going to be fire on Avalanche and Phantom. I think the market's taken a big hit this morning because of this. You look over at the stock market and some big green this morning. The bulls tried. That's pretty bearish. That's a gravestone doji if that closes on the daily, which is highly indicative of a continued depreciation. That's not pretty at all. So maybe the macroeconomic environment takes a fat shit. But that's why I look to folks like Luke and Lynn. I like listening to George. I like his ideas, George Gammon. Peter Brandt. Technically the charts don't look good, and Peter's the first to speak out about it. He's pretty agnostic with regard to his charting. Peter, and it looks pretty shitty to me. Pretty shitty to me. What are your options on staking Curve versus locking CVX? I have no interest in CVX. I have interest in CVX CRV, which is locked CRV position. That's my only option. Jake, can you explain how you are filing your taxes in terms of yield gain versus capital gain? I'm focusing purely on income. I am avoiding all capital gains. I am generating income. Anytime you press a claim button, it's income. It's a salary. And it's not filed as capital gains. It's filed as business income. Self-employment income. And that's my focus. That's how I want it to be, and that is what I am forcing myself to behave accordingly. I'm forcing myself to do as such, so that's the kind of tax treatment I get. You always talk about being a business income, but could you expand? So I live in a state which is tax friendly. There's no state income tax. In any regard, short-term capital gains is basically the same tax rate as your tax bracket for income tax. So if you're trading shit, you're getting income tax anyway. Income tax is painful in other states, so it's food for thought. I'm surely not the best tax advice guy, but I just believe in the income ideology, and that is what I talk about. If you have extra capital to allocate now, other than CRV, CVX, where would you put them to work? XUC, Joe. If you have extra capital and you don't know where to deploy it, you throw it in stable coins, cranking out like 40% yield or something. Throw it in Frax USDC and you get 20 something percent on Frax. Let's see what Frax is throwing around. Ethereum mainnet, Frax. Load them up. Frax is throwing around 22% on dollars denominated in FXS, the asset that facilitates their governance. I'm quite bullish. on, and I have high opinion of the Frax protocol. I have very high opinion of Frax, and I have a very high opinion of Abracadabra. Both teams have expressed significant brilliance in their intellectual capacity and their creativity, and really have a vision for their respective products and services. Love the title of the stream, Moral Lobby. That's right. That's right. Mix, mix. Got you. Thanks for the precise explanation, Captain. You the man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Appreciate everyone. I have my ideologies, and all I'm here to do is talk about them and try and help best I can. That's all I can do. Yeah, QNT, good stuff. It's just not something I'm deployed to. That's okay. Can't own everything you want to own. Yeah, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing over there. And Santiago Velez is, I believe, an advisor with those boys. I like everything they're doing. It's just not a productive asset. That's my big qualm, which has nothing to do with the fact that I like what they're doing. Can you share your essentials on technical analysis? I'm not really a TA kind of guy, but here's my preferred setup. Happens to be on curve. I like the color scheme as well deployed here. This little blue line is the 200 EMA. This little green line is the 50 SMA. The blue line is the 100 SMA. The purple line is the 200 SMA. You look for nice bullish crosses like this bullish. It's actually quite bullish. The 50 SMA crossing the 200 EMA is quite bullish. 50 SMA crossing the 200 SMA will be even more bullish. So this is actually quite a good looking chart, especially with the uptrend here, higher lows. If you're looking at this looks not good. Let's go out to the daily real quick. Let's find the low to the left. It doesn't look bad because it's above the guppies, so there's a lot of breathing room, but it doesn't have a long enough history to have the moving averages. You don't have a 200 EMA in the daily. I don't have my SMAs up. But Ethereum, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin not being above the 200 SMA is potentially painful. This particular chart, this little green line is the 50 SMA. What I want to see is this get back above this big yellow line, and I want to see this green line cross in a 50 SMA, 200 SMA bullish cross. If we're up here, $47,000 on Tuesday, Wednesday, that's going to be a relief. But right now, this is not a very comfortable position to be in for if you're Bitcoin persons out there. It dipped below the guppies and pulled back up, but the guppies, clearly there's support here. You can see it went below, but it's there. And these charts are wonderful. You can see it. It's obvious. There is support there, which means people participating in the market see this chart and they're like, I'm going to buy. And if it goes below, I'm going to buy more. And then this is why there's support here. Charts are a manifestation of the market participants. It's a very interesting chart, and we'll see what happens in the coming hours. Cap, when are you retiring? You probably can already if you want to. No, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to figure stuff out. I'm making some changes this week, though. I have a new platform that I'm going to start making new videos on, VidLetter. So the same people that helped me out with the remote hour software. This kid Shun is a great guy. Wonderful. This is a heck of a product. A very unique product that I stand behind, and I'm more than happy. I'm going to actually help him and talk about it and help him the best I can. It's actually a remarkable product. It integrates trivially with Stripe. It's trivial. This is the art of a product and the user interface and user experience means everything. And basically, the way he set up this platform is make a video. You can subscribe to the videos to view them. And I can publish my videos. Publish video. His platform is so simple. I mean, literally breathtaking compared to the other publishing platforms. And to such a degree that it's quite astonishing and eye-catching how simple it is. I love Remote Hour, and I got to do more of it. And I think I'm making some changes this week to get on Remote Hour more, as well as starting to publish some videos aside from YouTube streams. Can I can I talk about YFI versus CVX CRV staking, also sushi swap LPs? Well, if you're doing a YFI play and you're going for yield there, you could also consider a little bit of co- co- uh, co- compounded leverage on Abracadabra. So if you get like 5% USDC, you could compound it to get 25%. So Abracadabra does offer that functionality, as you can see here. Load. So you go to borrow, and you can see that Abracadabra offers both CVX3 pool, as well as X Sushi, which you could compound, STF, which you could compound, Yearn USDC, USDT, Yearn WETH, Yearn YFI, which you could compound. I mean, you literally just go here, you get a 70%, change leverage, dragons await, crank it up to 5x, crank it up to 6x. You get a 2.94% times your money on the base Yearn position. Pretty interesting. So I love this protocol. This is there's brains that went into this. I like the memeage, the meme value. I like the follow through. I often tell folks you got to peer through the madness. Can you imagine someone coming in from the legacy financial system and seeing this protocol and not understanding it for what it is? But I look at it from the dev perspective, and I understand the subtleties, nuances, complexities, the smart contract implementation. I've communicated with the developers personally. I've participated in the community. I participated in an OTC deal to help fund Abracadabra. And there's very few things that catch my eye, like a YFI feel. You know, it straight up has a YFI feel to me. Mickmon, does staking CRV and Convex gain fees from all chains or just Ethereum? Well, let's take a peek real quick. Polygon curve. Let's swap the Polygon real quick. I gotta wrap up the stream in a couple minutes though. All right, so Polygon curve root. Let's take a look at Aave. Whoa, whoa! Looks like there is an admin fee. Interesting. I don't think it's on all the chains, and I'm looking forward to Curve deploying to Avalanche. Curve's already on Phantom. Let's take a look at FTM real quick. Curve FTM. Swap networks. I'm connected. Let's look at Tupool. Admin fee. McMahon. You see what I'm talking about here. Curve hits all the chains, and if it doesn't now, I'm sure they want it to. King Russia, do you think an OTC over the counter sales system would be ineffective in combating slippage? Yeah, there's some Arbitrum plays. Do I have it up? Not Seabridge, not Octus. I believe here they're doing. What's the name of it? Oh my goodness. GMX. GMX is offering an OTC. Was it? No, no. It was Octus. OT. Yeah. Check this out. So there's room in the market for a lot of products and services. And Octus has this OTC. So you could just, you place a bid and, it has the feel of like NFT marketplace. Here's a bid. Does anyone want to buy it? And that takes the pressure off, well, it takes it off the AMMs. Food for thought. Yeah, maybe more lobby. The markets are extremely volatile today. Mickmon, when you sell your convex income, don't you get capital gains tax when you sell the token anyway? Yeah, so there's capital gains on that, but it's basically it's basically zero because if you're getting an income of $1,000 denominated in convex and you're liquidating it instantaneously for $1,000, it's might as well just say it's income. And so I don't know. Follow whatever your accountant says. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Um, Art didn't get the ping. Huh? What is your strategy for harvesting your curve in CVX? Harvest when you need yield to pay bills. Take a salary. Zach, did you ever claim your ION because vote passed the clawback unclaimed balances after 6 months, Wallace, with no transactions? ION on what? What is ION? I have no idea. There's so much stuff going on. How am I supposed to keep up with all of it? Macro minds. Are we in a bear market? Yes, no, I don't know. No one knows. What is a bear market? Things go up, things go down. Things are volatile all over the place. All I know is give me that weekly revenue. That's all I know. Sup, Posh Captain, you buying the dip? What are you buying? I'm gonna go get lunch after this call, and I'm gonna sit back and watch my revenue streams produce revenue. What do I got here? I took a position in MIM and AVAX, cranking out 192%. I own 3% of the pool. That's something like $300 a day in profit. I'm not complaining. Pay the car bill with that bad boy. Um, Pros and cons staking CVX CRV on YFI versus convex. I would just stake it on convex. I'm not into. I'm not trying to complexify things with Yearn. I haven't deployed much to Yearn products over the years. How much capital required to go full time and pay yourself a salary on average? Everyone has a different overhead. Everyone has different bills and expenses, and I know what my numbers are. And they're definitely different for everyone. Uh, Professor J, love your channel, sir. Found you on Taiki live stream. Probably the most reasonable sounding person in crypto. I try to be different, reasonable, hopefully humble and appreciative. I appreciate all of you. I try my best to help everyone the best I can. Klaus, what is the Twitter handle you're talking about? I don't know. Noah, have you heard of KDA? One of the smarter buddies. Love it. Curious. Never heard of it, my friend. Oh, Zach. Ooh, osmosis. Ooh, I love me some osmosis. This thing is awesome. You know, Cosmos is off so many people's radar, but this thing just goes up. Oh my God, what's Cosmos at? Holy crap. I think I got this for like a 15 chip. Wow. Wow. Nice to be doing decent, at least in one of our assets. What the hell does Adam look like on the chart? Of course, it's on Binance. Woo! I mean, I'm sorry, guys. Is there a bear market somewhere? Oh my God. Green on a day of a sea of red. Now look at these bullish cross. Look, there you go. 50 SMA bullish cross of the 200 SMA on the daily. Woo! That looks good, boys and girls. And it's all time high, which means price discovery. Nice to see some green. Happens to be one of my that's one of my bags, one of my larger positions. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 large positions. Cosmos has just brute forced its way into number 3 and it's pushing to number 2 because Ren is slipping. Ren was doing good. It was up at 80 something cents, but now it's down at 65. One solid rip from Cosmos, and it's taken over the number 2 position in the portfolio. That's an extraordinary evaluation. Valuation. Huh. Incredible. Wonder how the other assets are doing. I don't want to digress too much on the stream. Let's wrap this up, boys and girls. Joe, you're making me so salty. Don't be salty. Too much blood pressure. Got to treat yourself good. Chris, enjoy lunch. Thank you. You're very welcome. Dylan, you're doing well, my friend. You're doing well. Congrats on Adam. Yeah, this is incredible. This is incredible. Joe, I was waiting to get more gains on FTM before going to. Well, Now it's late. I mean, I'm just entries are hard. I've had this position since 2019. I've had Adams, and I bought Polkadot when it was pre 100 to 1 reverse split. So these are I don't know how to advise people to take positions. And this is, thinking of these positions that I have, this is exactly why I have such long-term time horizons, because now is not when you buy. You want to buy when something's like blood red and everyone's scared shitless, like March in 2020 when Adam was a buck and a quarter. Ah, now it's 38. That's when you buy, when everyone is so fearful. But you have to have some serious conviction. You're taking risk. Yeah, well, it's all time high, my friend. Daniel, it's you don't. I wouldn't buy now. I don't have answers to such questions. This is all time high. But China, Cosmos hits the China narrative that I talk about. I think some of the other chains. Let's take a look real quick at Iris. It should be on Binance. Yeah. Wow. This is where I would go. Not so easy to buy it though. Iris Net. This is a big deal. This is the business DApp blockchain for the BSN, and IrisNet hits the China narrative. IrisNet is a Cosmos hub. So IrisNet means China has basically integrated Cosmos. So that's the way it all fits together. But this is a beautiful chart, and it's pushing, at least for a local high. It's a 50 SMA, 200 EMA bullish cross. If it breaches the 200 SMA, it's going to set off a lot of indicators, and that's going to get some algos cooking, and this should rip to some new highs. So if you're late on Atom, why are you going to buy it all time high when you got a Cosmos hub, which Atom is a Cosmos hub that looks well structured, well positioned, and hits the China narrative also. The only difference between IrisNet and Atom is that nobody freaking knows about IrisNet. Nobody talks about. There is nobody out there talking about IrisNet. I challenge to the Noah Talks community. If anyone could find anyone else on YouTube land that has mentioned IrisNet, I've been talking about this thing since early last year. And if Cosmos pops off and the digital yuan pops off in China, the BSN's going to pop off and IrisNet's going to pop off as well, along with Atom and all the Cosmos hubs. Let's wrap this up. You're very welcome, Daniel. Dan, do I put a small percent of funds in the smaller alts, or do you keep your funds time tested portfolio? Here, 6% of my portfolio, 6 assets are 90% of my portfolio. I still have a couple of smaller positions if you guys are interested. I still have Polkadot's not the largest position. Bancor, tiny synthetics, tiny Aave position, smaller positions. You know what's large? You know what turned out to be a large position? Syscoin. Jesus Christ. Syscoin sitting at 28 grand. So I bought a Syscoin Masternode like 5,000 years ago. And that's it's extremely volatile and it's highly speculative. Old school UTXO that's delving into UTXO or it's basically expanding the blockchain so they'll have smart contracts. And if anyone's been able to pivot over the years, it's them. IrisNet's doing good. Solid position in IrisNet. That thing's up. BlockNet's hovering. I got some my favorites. StakeNet's still one of my favorites. Firo, one of my favorites. That's about it for the old school stuff that's even remotely interesting. Let's go back to the stream. What's your choice? Auto compounding a beefy versus yield yak? Probably yield yak, but I would just go to like Trader Joe and just do their farm instead. Then you're manual. I don't know. I'm not a fan of auto compounders necessarily, but I don't know. My opinion isn't the end all of it. There's a lot of folks that are quite decent to listen to. Dr. T's in the house. I'm going to wrap this up on your comment, my friend. Yo, with all these opportunities, do you still? No, I do not. I do not. Food for thought. I don't know entirely if it's the best choice. I sure as hell have no idea if I'm doing the best. All I know is I tell you guys what I'm doing, and I don't have the BTC nor the Ethereum. I think the story has changed, and that was my choice. GM, Secret, not on my radar. Alan, you're very welcome. HB, great content. Never understood CRV. After doing some research, I'm blown away on where it can go. Yeah, over the next 5 to 10 year time horizon, boys and girls, because that's the one that makes the most sense. 63 people in the stream, 38 likes. We can do a little bit better. As always, I thank everyone for joining me. Tell everyone to subscribe. After party on Discord. I'm going to get these videos cranking on VidLetter. Try and get to some remote hours and help you guys to the best of my abilities. I will see you guys on Twitter. I wish you guys a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Peace.